Carrie from the Female Entrepreneur Association. So in the last video, I was talking about the two crucial things that we need to do in order to become successful. And I know these two things are so vital because when I applied them to my life, everything changed. So in the last video, I was talking about how one of the crucial things in order to be successful is actually knowing what you want, which I know that sounds really basic and obvious and simple, but I think that we tend to think about what kind of things we want in terms of we want a nice car, we want what house we might want, what watch we want. But how often do we actually sit down and go beyond that and think about what we want to achieve? And so in the last video I was talking about what Michael Gerber says in the E-Myth when he says, imagine it's your funeral. What kind of things do you want the people to be saying about the kind of person that you were, about the kind of life that you lived and about the kind of things you achieved? And so I think it's crucial to kind of go deeper into what we want to achieve and why we want to achieve it. And I think once you know that, that will really set you up for success. So now I want to talk about the second thing, and this is the most crucial thing. If you have the right mindset, you will be successful. There are so many people wandering around programmed for failure, and I know because I used to be one of them. And I'll give you a really a good example. So how many times have you come up with a great idea and then maybe a day later or a week later start to think, oh, I don't know if I can do this, I don't think I've got the time, or I've not got the money, or the fact you just don't know how you're going to do it, and you just start to think, you start to let the doubts and the worries and all of that stuff filter in, and all of a sudden the idea that filled you with excitement now fills you with dread, and you just think you can't do it anymore, and so you just kind of leave it to one side and just get on with life again. So many of us do this, and I have done it too many times to admit. And that is a mind programmed for failure. And I'm not saying that absolutely every idea you ever think of is something that you absolutely have to do, but just that mindset of how you actually talk yourself out of it, that's a mindset programmed for failure. So we actually need to think, I can do it instead of I can't do it. You have to believe with absolute conviction that you're going to make it happen and never ever stop believing. If you don't think you've got the time, you have to figure out how you're going to make the time, because there's always time. Every single one of us has the same amount of time, so we just have to figure it out and focus on what we can actually do. If you don't think you've got the money, you need to figure out what you can do right now to get started with what you've got, rather than thinking of money as, or not having it as a problem. That is a mindset program for success, and we have to think more like that, and when we do, we will become more successful. Tony Robbins said an amazing quote. It's one of my favourite quotes. He said, your destiny is determined by the choices you make. Choose now, choose well. So ultimately, our success is determined by the choices we make. And the choices we make are determined by what we're thinking and our attitude and our mindset. So if we have a really negative mindset of thinking that we can't do something, or always looking at the doubts and the worries and all that stuff, we're going to be making possibly bad decisions or missing out on great opportunities because we don't think we can do it, we don't think we're worthy enough, we don't think we've got the time, and we're making bad decisions, and therefore we're not creating the best future for ourselves. Whereas if we've got a mindset like us programmed for success, where we think, I'm going to figure this out, I'm going to do this, or having complete self-belief, listening to the positive voice and not the negative voice, then the chances are we'll be making really, really great decisions. We'll be going for it and doing whatever it takes to make it happen. Because that's how our mind is programmed, that's the kind of attitude we have. And then our future will be much more successful because we're making really great decisions. And I think that's so key. When I look back and think, how did I get to where I am today when a couple of years ago I was miserable as hell, going round and round in circles, feeling totally lost and totally unfulfilled? And how did I get here today to where I am now and all the incredible things that have happened? And I always think nothing ever changed. I didn't suddenly come into a load of money, I didn't suddenly meet someone who changed my life. Nothing like that happened. The only thing that changed was me. I changed my attitude, I changed my mindset. I stopped thinking, oh, I don't know what to do, and I stopped feeling sorry for myself and stopped focusing on the fact that I was feeling lost, and actually changed my mindset and thought, what can I do about it? What do I need to do today? What can I do now? What decisions can I make that are going to help me to have a much better future, rather than carrying on going round and round in these circles? And just by doing that one simple thing changed absolutely everything. Everything. Because the thing is that trying to be an entrepreneur, there are so many ups and downs. Like, there are times when I wake up and I think, what the hell am I doing? And I think I've gone crazy. And when I've got a mindset programmed for success, it means that I can actually handle that and handle those feelings, and you think, you know what? I'm going to carry on going anyway because I believe in what I'm doing with absolute conviction. Or when things go really wrong, or when someone says to me, I just don't understand what you're doing, I don't get it, and it's really, you know, you feel like it's a knockback. You're just like, well, why don't you believe in it? The old Carrie would have been like, would have really let it affect me. I would have really dwelled on it, the fact that someone said that I had a terrible idea. I'd have let it bother me, I'd have let it really knock me back. But now, when someone doesn't agree with me or anything like that, or I have a setback or I make a mistake, instead of dwelling on it, I just focus on the positive side, focus on what I can do, I focus on getting ahead, and I focus on keeping going, because I do really, truly believe, and I will hang on for as long as it takes in order to get to where I want to be. And that is the power of what happens when you program your mind for success, when you have the right attitude for success. And I know it works because I've done it, and it's absolutely crucial. So if there's one thing you do this week, think about or look about, watch what you're saying to yourself, watch what you're telling yourself when you have a decision to make. Think of your thought process and how you're making those decisions. Are you making good decisions that are going to get you to a great future, or are you making bad decisions which are holding you back and not letting you get as far as you could be getting? Think about what you're doing, and then if you need to make tweaks, make tweaks. There's a really, really great quote that I just want to leave you with, and it says, watch your thoughts because they become words. Watch your words because they become actions. Watch your actions because they become habits. Watch your habits because they become character. And watch your character because that becomes your destiny. And it's so unbelievably true. It all starts in your mind, and then that becomes your reality. So make sure in your mind you're programmed for success. So just have a think about that this week, and I will see you next time. Bye!